Ladies and gentlemen, we are currently holding for further traffic clearance.
Check out Kristen's new website, magicaljourneysvacations.com, for all your vacation needs. Disney, Universal, cruise lines, and more.
Thank you for traveling with us.
magicaljourneysvacations.com. Have her book your magical vacation today.
WDW After Dark. Now loading.
WDW After Dark. WDW After Dark. Live and uncensored. Starring Jeff Davis, Al Jonko, Kristen Hetzel, and Eric Allen. WDW After Dark is live and uncensored. Call the hotline at 410-98-WDW-AD. Follow us on Facebook at WDW After Dark Webcast and Twitter at WDW After Dark. Headline news, Disney food, video games, Marvel and Star Wars. WDW After Dark. Live and uncensored. And now prepare yourself for WDW After Dark.
WDW After Dark presents Disney Discussion, a roundtable panel.
We've come to our portion of the show where we are normally doing our top 5 of something absolutely nuts and crazy that we think of literally 15 minutes before the show starts. But this time around, we're changing it up a little bit. We're not doing a top 5. This is based off of an earlier story from earlier in the show about this guy bringing a loaded weapon to the Walt Disney World Resort, trying to get into Epcot. So Eric had a very good idea and said, for those who need, some guidance when it comes to visiting the parks at Walt Disney World, maybe we should talk about the general rules and regulations of what to do and what not to do at Walt Disney World. So we're going to go over them.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about these.
Stacy has her time to do the must-dos. This is the time to do the must-don'ts.
Exactly. So we're going to go down everything Disney has listed on the Walt Disney World website. We're going to go through them.
And we're giving our running commentary.
Yes.
For those of you who may not
alternate on these,
because we all are about the guidance.
Guidance and safety. So,
safety.
First, we are going to talk general rules. Okay.
As opposed to General MacArthur.
Right. So to ensure a safe and enjoyable experience for all of our park guests, they say, please respect the following rules. 1, all persons, bags, parcels, clothing, and other items may be subject to screening, security checks at the park's entrances, and also within the parks. If you bring it,
subject to, yeah,
they can look at it.
Yeah.
Period.
And this should come as no surprise.
Oh, not at all.
Number 2, we reserve the right not to allow any bag, parcel, or other item to be brought into the parks and to deal with any unattended object in such way as we consider appropriate. For instance, if we consider it appropriate that we take your Dooney and Burke handbag and toss it into the Seven Seas Lagoon, then, hey, we reserve the right to do it.
Leave the bag at home.
In other words, don't bring anything into the parks that you can't bear to be without unless it's an absolute necessity.
Exactly. Good point. Yeah. I like that.
Bring essentials. It's not just safety. It's not just respect. It's also common sense.
Yes.
fewer things you bring with you, the fewer things you have to lug around World Showcase.
That's a fact. That's a fact. All right, next one. And this is one that, means a lot to a lot of people. But please show common courtesy to fellow park guests and our cast members by not using profanity or engaging in unsafe, illegal, disruptive, or offensive behavior. For your safety and the safety of others, please refrain from running. Now, the running part, okay, yes, you can trip and hurt yourself. Understandable. But I am a sailor. I was a sailor. I was in the Navy. I know what it's like to hear all kinds of different things that can be said while you're at sea. But guess what, ladies and gentlemen? You don't need to say it at Walt Disney World. And you don't need to be a jerk while you're there as well. Correct?
Correct. And this actually ties into some complaints that I have seen lately about food and wine. Within this, we hear these complaints every year. People getting drunk and stumbling around the world. And we've made jokes about it.
Yeah.
My favorite running joke is there's a reason World Showcase is built on a curve because, you do it right. You can't walk a straight line.
Yeah. Yeah.
But some people, when they get drunk, they're not good drunks. Now, if you're the kind of drunk, you're happy drunk, you're not disrupting somebody else's good time. But if you are the type, you get loud, you get boisterous, you start,
Yeah.
like you start dancing it off kilter. Well, you ain't got to worry about that because off kilter's not there though. Though Bodicon does sound pretty good. I think they
do.
Found a good replacement this time.
Yeah. I hope they stick around for a while.
Yeah.
They should.
Yeah.
What's next?
Number 4, proper attire, including shoes and shirts, must be worn at all times. Costumes may not be worn by guests ages 14 or older. Clothing that drags the ground is prohibited. Clothing with multiple layers is subject to search. We reserve the right to deny admission to or remove any person wearing attire that we consider inappropriate or attire that could detract from the experience of other guests. Visible tattoos that could be considered inappropriate, such as those containing objectionable language or designs, are not permitted. So this is kind of standard to begin with. You got the no shirt, no shoes, no service.
No problem.
The costumes may not be worn by guests ages 14 or over. And this is where the Disney bounding craze kind of starts creeping in on that. If you want to wear clothes that kind of resemble your favorite character, that's fine.
Sure.
But the closer you get to actual costume, it's kind of like, well, okay, it's not as bad as bringing a loaded gun into, but I still have to ask, why are you doing this?
That's a very good question. Very good question.
The inappropriate attire that we consider, now that gets a little subjective to me, because you could have a cast member walking around seemingly with a corn cob shoved up where only proctologists dare to probe. And if they see something that they just don't like, then according to this, they could just say, well, all right, well, you've got a Trump t-shirt. I find that inappropriate. Get out of here.
Oh, goodness. You had to go there.
I was just trying to think of something. And
you thought of a good one, too. Leave the clothes you wear to the club at home. Okay? Leave them at home. Families and children don't need to see the various proportions of your body every single day. I understand it is Florida. I understand it's Orlando. I understand that it is hot. But please be respectable.
Yeah. And dress for comfort rather than
Yeah.
flash.
Please. Please. Yeah. No doubt about that. Jeez. Man, that's a good one.
All right. What's next?
I find it appropriate that I'm doing this one.
I did not plan that when I said you go first.
Yeah, you did. Okay.
Honest, I did. Okay.
For the comfort of all guests, smoking of tobacco, e-cigarettes, or other products that produce a vapor or smoke are allowed in only designated smoking areas. So, ladies and gentlemen, this right here, you see this. This is
That
an
is
e-cigarette.
not an Imperial communicator.
No, it is not, but I will have it soon. So when you do this, you can't do that anywhere in the park that you want to do. Just because you have this, you can't do it. You have to do it in a designated smoking area. You cannot walk down Main Street, USA, and just be vaping away. I see it all the time. All the time. Be respectful of others. I'm telling you this so you don't get kicked out of the park. Just because you have this does not give you an excuse to use it anywhere you want.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be respectful to others who don't like it.
And in case you haven't picked up on this, watching the show or listening to it on iTunes, being respectful of others is kind of a recurring theme in all these.
Right?
It's
Yeah.
astonishing how that works.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Okay.
that one hits home for me very, very good. Be respectful when it comes to that
Yeah,
stuff.
it's like you're gonna have your places that you can go smoke up.
Yeah.
Just stay there, do it.
Yeah.
Please supervise your children at all times.
Well, here we go.
Yes. Guests under age 14 must be accompanied by a guest age 14 or older to enter the park. To board an attraction, children under age 7 must be accompanied by a person age 14 years or older. Ladies and gentlemen, I have gone to Disney with a toddler. I have gone to Disney with a preteen.
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe not quite, but
Close.
it has been a while. It has been a while since I have been to Disney. But while I understand the thought of go, you're getting on my last nerve, put some distance between you and me, go right, It's a Small World 15 times in a row if you want. I'll be over here.
Yeah.
Don't. Because, again, that kind of harkens back to the Disney bubble. There are people in this world who would love to take away little children from their parents and you never see them again.
Yeah.
If you're that kind of sick person, Disney World, Disneyland, ripe hunting plant.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Is it not? It would be a gold mine.
Mm-hmm. Hunting ground.
Hunting ground. I say that because that's what these people are. They are predators.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. You want to keep an eye on your children at all times. That's one reason. Another reason, alligators. Do I need to say more about that?
Nope. That says it all right there.
I mean, I'm not saying that it was anybody's fault. I'm just saying keep an eye on your children at all times, because things can happen in the blink of an eye.
Pete Warner from the Diz podcast says it best. At the end of every show he does, stay out of the damn lakes. And why? Because they're dangerous. So don't let your kids near them. Police your children.
And that there's also the be respectful to others. Because you're there with your family.
Yeah.
This could be like the only time you will ever walk down Main Street, USA.
You are so right.
And you have some 8-year-old spoiled kid come up and do something that could totally ruin the day for you. You don't want to be that. You wouldn't want your vacation ruined by somebody else's kid behaving badly. So don't let your kid behave badly. If the kid needs a timeout, kid needs a timeout.
That's right.
Yeah. All right.
All right. This one's pretty self-explanatory. Real quick. Access to attractions depends upon the safety rules for each attraction. Cut and dry right there.
Yep.
Say no more. Next one.
All right. Masks may not be worn by any guests ages 14 or older unless required for medical purposes. When worn by younger guests, masks must provide unobstructed peripheral vision at all times with openings that allow the eyes to be fully seen. Again, that's pretty cut and dried.
That's pretty cut and dry, although I've never seen a mask required for medical purposes before, so I don't know exactly.
Like a Michael Jackson surgical mask kind of thing.
Okay.
Maybe.
Okay. All right. I wasn't sure.
Now, they're not talking like, Mike Myers, Halloween, Friday the 13th, Jason hockey mask kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That's pretty cut and dried, too. Okay. Let's see here. Do we move on to prohibited items?
Yes, go ahead.
All right. So, first one. Recreational devices such as drones, remote control toys, skateboards, scooters, inline skates, or shoes with built-in wheels are prohibited.
That makes sense because, this could go wrong. You could be saying, oh, well, I'm going to go roller skate around with my skater shoes. And you hit a rough part of pavement, you fall, you bust your butt. You hurt yourself. Yeah. Or you're skating along at high speed. All of a sudden, here comes, Granny Maybell out of Club Cool, and you crash into her at full speed. Well, now you hurt yourself. You hurt them. So
and when it comes to drones, you don't want this thing with moving propellers that can cut skin.
Yes.
To fall on somebody's head.
Yes.
Come on. As cool as it would be to get aerial shots for your vlog or for your family, or you want to take a selfie or something else with your drone, as cool as it would be, I agree with you. It is pretty neat. Don't bring it.
Yeah.
Leave it at
just
home.
don't.
Just leave it at home.
Just
don't bring it. All right. Next one.
Okay. Alcoholic beverages or any illegal substance may not be brought into the parks. Keep your meth at home. Keep the booze in the hotel room where it belongs.
Some of you out there, and you know who you are extremely guilty of saving those little bitty bottles that you get on the plane that has a quick shot in it. And when you get to the hotel, and hey, let's refill this. And what do? You put them in your pocket for when you go through security. They're not in the bag, and you like to add them to drinks while you're there at the park. Don't do it.
It's kind of like, oh, well, so they don't sell the spiced rum Dole Whips anymore? Well, we'll take care of that.
Leave it at home, because I know of people who have been on this show 5 years ago who have done that before, because I watched them do it on their vlog on YouTube.
There you go.
So do not follow that example. Just leave it at home.
If you need some booze, every single park sells the booze.
That's right.
Even Magic Kingdom.
It costs you a little more.
Well, yeah.
It may cost you, but hey, it's Disney. Everything costs more. The toilet paper costs more. Right? It's just that way it is.
The only thing that doesn't cost more is the cup of ice water, and even then, you'll pay for it when you drink it.
Yeah, you will. Yeah. Okay. This one's pretty self-explanatory. Strollers larger than 36 by 52 are not allowed. They are prohibited. Don't bring them in.
And that's another thing that's pretty self-explanatory. Y'all, having gone to Disney with the toddler and an infant, Mac's first trip was at 5 months. Really, all you need is a cheap umbrella stroller you can get at Walmart. It folds up. The big strollers, yes, they have the bells and whistles. Yes, they ride well, but they take up so much freaking space on the bus.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, I agree with
you. The little umbrella stroller, they're cheap. If something happens to it, oh well.
Mm-hmm.
But you can fold it up, very compact. Sometimes, some of them even have a little sling that, you can just put them over your shoulder, just like a really big duffel bag. Boom.
Or why bother and just use the one Disney provides for you if you want one?
Well, that costs a little more.
Why not? It does, but it's Disney.
There you go.
This is Disney. Crying out loud.
Something else that's prohibited.
Next.
Suitcases, coolers, or backpacks with or without wheels larger than 24 inches long by 15 inches wide by 18 inches high. So basically anything bigger than a six-pack cooler.
Yeah.
Another reason, keep your booze at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't need your suitcase at Walt Disney World.
No, you don't. No, don't do the suitcase. Don't really need your backpack either, unless,
Yeah.
Again,
true.
Bring only what you essentially need. Now, if you're traveling with a young kid and you have to have like the diapers and the snacks and the baby formula, whatever, we're not unsympathetic to that. We're not saying you can't bring that. I'm
Understandable.
Just saying, if you don't need it, don't bring it.
That's
Trust us.
That on a sign right there outside of Walt Disney World. Provided by Eric Allen.
Hey, dang kids.
All right. Any trailer-like object that is pushed or towed by an electronic conveyance vehicle, wheelchair or stroller, or pulled by a person, including a wagon, is prohibited.
I love how they put trailer-like object.
That's pretty broad.
So, or pulled by a person. Okay, you know what that means? You know those rickshaws where you've got basically like a little carriage that's pulled by a person? You can't have a rickshaw.
Nope, can't happen. No. Not gonna happen. Yeah. What's next?
But now I just have this mental image of one of those ECV things towing a trailer. What are you going to tow on a trailer?
Little train.
A lawnmower?
Your kids?
Oh, Lord. Yes.
Oh, golly.
Yeah. Okay. Wheeled mobility devices with less than 3 wheels or devices that cannot maintain stability and balance when stopped, unpowered, or unoccupied. Training wheels or similar modifications are not permitted. Darn, you can't bring your little bike with training wheels.
Nope.
Devices must be manually or electrically powered and operated at a walking pace. Devices should be single rider and not exceed 36 inches in width and 52 inches in length. Manually or electrically powered.
Yeah.
So if you've got a Hemi in your Segway, you're out of luck.
Pretty much. You're done. Of course, the only time I've ever seen Segways at Disney was at Innoventions or
the
tour. Epcot tour. Yeah. The only time I've ever seen that. So leave it at home. Leave it at home. All right. Weapons of any kind. Weapons of any kind.
Like
or
this.
Objects like that.
This would be classified.
That appear to be a weapon. Also including toy blasters, squirt guns, etc., 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 are prohibited. Ties back
so
to
you know
our
how you
story.
get around this? You know how you get around this?
How is that?
You get one of those little fake flowers that squirt water.
Don't do that, people. Eric, don't stray them from the correct path.
Well, it's not an object that appears to be a weapon.
Oh, goodness gracious. That's too much. I'm losing power in my laptop here. Hold on.
Uh-oh.
I'm about to lose a broadcast here. I better plug this sucker in.
We paused due to technical difficulties. Just remember, Jeff, devices must be manually or electrically powered.
Leave your arsenal at home. Okay, if you're preparing for the zombie apocalypse and you want to be ready to go just in case, leave the arsenal at home.
Yeah.
Period. No bats with barbed wire on it. For those of you who just watched The Walking Dead Sunday night. Goodness.
Another thing that might come in handy during the zombie apocalypse used as a weapon would be folding chairs. So they're not allowed.
No, not allowed.
No WrestleMania for you.
Folding chairs. They just had to because somebody did it. That's the thing. Somebody brought it, and it had to be put on the list. That's the crazy thing about it. Okay. Next one. Okay. Selfie sticks.
Mm-hmm.
Handheld extension poles for cameras or mobile devices are prohibited. Now, if you are an innovator and you can figure out a way to see what Eric has got there.
See, this is a selfie stick.
That's a selfie stick.
You know what makes this a selfie stick?
It extends.
Yes.
Look at that.
This is why it's not allowed. Because you have these idiots who said, oh, well, let us get a selfie on It's a Small World and let's stick our selfie out way over the boat so we could get everybody in. Whack. Oh, I'm sorry. The little Swiss baby just lost its head.
Or you swung around while standing in the middle of Fantasyland to get the best shot of you and your group, and you smack somebody in the head with your selfie stick. Now, even though you can't bring a selfie stick, small tripods are allowed.
Yes.
I'm not going to give you my secret as to how I do it, but there are ways to take a selfie with tripods. It just has to be the right type of tripod. But
Well, you get the
leave
little
that secret for myself.
tabletop tripod.
Yeah,
It does not extend, and it is
Doesn't
not,
extend.
and it's not very long. Now, if you want to use it a handle to where you can get the picture around and just make it less awkward to hold,
Yeah, yeah.
then you're not really getting it out past arm's length. You still need to be respectful of those around you. There's that word again.
Yeah. I've got two things that I take in the parks with me. For one, vlogging purposes, and two, I can use it as a selfie type of mode. It just has to be shaped in a different way. But every single time when they check my bag and they see this certain thing, they go, "Is that a selfie stick?" And I'm like, "No." "Does it extend?" I'm like, "No." You can't say anything because it's not a selfie stick. I found a loophole. That's my
loophole, you say.
Yeah. And well, we talked about tripods. So
Yeah,
large tripods.
Large tripods are not allowed.
Not allowed. So Eric, what's the next one?
Glass containers. Don't take your mason jar in the parks with you.
No moonshine.
No moonshine. Now, this does not include small containers such as baby food jars.
Right.
Your little baby loves strained carrots. Well, you can bring those strained carrots in. I can't imagine why you would want to subject your kid to strained carrots, but hey, free country. So yeah, glass, and this again, kind of a no-brainer. Glass containers. Glass has a tendency to break when you're not careful. Yeah. You don't want to be walking around and all of a sudden brush up against something and, oh, you're spurting blood because somebody had a glass mason jar and it shattered.
Oh, what a magical moment that is. Yeah.
Yes.
Good point.
That's a magical moment. Yes.
All right. Pets or other animals, except approved service animals, in other words, dogs and miniature horses. Yeah. Just that's it. That's there. You know, I'm looking at it.
Yeah. Miniature
horses. When did that become a service animal? I didn't know that, for one.
I don't know.
Service animals should remain on a leash or in a harness and under the control of the owner at all times. Due to the nature of some attractions, service animals may not be permitted to ride certain attractions. So you can't let little Larry there, who is your service beagle that you're bringing with you, you can't just let him run loose around, Tomorrowland. It's not going to work.
No.
You got to keep him under control.
And unfortunately, you see abuse of this. You hear about it, you see it, where somebody says, well, I don't want to put my little weenie dog up in a kennel while I'm at Disney. I'll get one of those service animal vests and I'll just bring them along, and they can't say nothing.
Yeah.
Okay, first of all, if you do that, you're violating the spirit of the rule there. Second of all, you're insulting those who have legitimate needs for service animals. Just so you could have a pet.
That is a fact, sir. That is a fact.
So, I mean, if somebody has a service animal, has a legitimate service animal, they have a legitimate need for that service animal.
They do.
And that need is not, I just don't want to board my dog.
Mm-hmm. That's a very good point. I never thought about that. I never thought of doing that either. I like that. That was good.
Okay. Next to the last prohibited item, balloons in plastic straws are not permitted in Disney's Animal Kingdom Park for the safety of our animals. And it should be a no-brainer.
Should be. Yeah, should
be. Because, you don't want animals eating the balloons or the plastic straws because they don't biodegrade.
They get lodged
mm-hmm.
right up in here. That little spot up underneath where it's your esophagus.
Yeah.
Gets lodged in the animal's throat.
And they die.
They die. This
Balloons
is life we're
kill.
talking about. You know, the Mickey balloon may look wonderful, but it can kill. Remember that when you buy it next time. And your kid lets it go. Well, they don't really do that anymore, do they? Do they? Yeah, they still float away. They can still float away.
Yeah, they do
Remember
still float
that.
away.
They still, what am I thinking? That's self-explanatory. All right.
Yeah.
Last on this list, other items that we determine may be harmful or disruptive.
That's the stuff we didn't think of rule.
That's the truth. It's like a laundry list of things that we don't know about that Disney's not going to allow you to bring in at all.
Oh,
like,
your
well, it wasn't on the list.
Your weed whacker, the string trimmer? No. That goes under other items that we determine may be harmful.
Yeah. You know, you can't bring a hammer. You know, you can't bring. Don't bring your Keurig with you.
Oh yeah, there you go.
You know, you can't bring that. No Keurigs allowed inside of Walt Disney World. You can't just hook it up to any wall outlet in the park and say, "Hey, I'm going to have a cup of coffee right here." No, you can't do that. So leave it at home. Even the miniature ones that they make for your desk, leave it at home.
Yeah, but I'm going on the Osprey golf course later. It's like, no, you can't take your golf clubs in there with you.
The espresso machine stays. The golf clubs, golf course. The tennis racket, tennis.
Mm-hmm. The 30-foot length of chain.
Why?
I don't care if you want to keep your wallet on a chain. Do not put that chain in there.
I want to tether my kids with a chain. Little suckers aren't going to run off on me.
Little Bobby
the
once
thing-
chewed through a leather strap once, so we had to go to 12 gauge galvanized. Yeah, you ain't going to be trying to cheat through that.
Buy the thing that they've got at Toys R Us or Kids R Us or Walmart or Target that looks like a little baby bear that they strap to their back. Use that instead. Don't use chain. Don't use barbed wire.
No, definitely don't use barbed wire to keep your kid close.
all this stuff we have just mentioned goes under the portion of all this where it says other items that we determine may be harmful or disruptive.
The 6-foot leather bullwhip. I don't care that you are Indiana Jones. You're not bringing it in.
Or if it's not a bullwhip and it's just a whip because you use it for other purposes, leave it at home.
Whip it. Whip it good.
Whip it good.
Okay.
Next.
We discussed the things you can't bring into the parks. How about things you cannot do at the parks?
Oh, here we go.
For instance, the sale of goods or services or the display of goods or services for sale. You cannot open your own lemonade stand on Main Street, USA.
Leave the candy bars in the box at home. You're not going to gain profit by selling stuff for your school at the park.
Excuse me, mister. Can you help me buy my way in town here again? We're raising money.
No, and
Little
in all
Jimmy
seriousness,
really wants that RC car, you know.
there you go. That he also cannot bring into the parks. Okay, this is also something. There was this one blogger who was conducting his own tours of Disneyland. I think you may know the guy I'm talking about, but I don't want to mention his name here. But he actually got booted and banned from Disney for doing his own paid tours.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like-
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
You know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about.
I know what you're talking about.
He
Yeah.
supposedly would rent himself out as a tour guide, and basically don't try to make money for yourself on Disney's dime.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's not
Pretty
Disney
much.
just being a-holes about it. It's pretty much anywhere you go to any business, any company,
Mm-hmm.
you don't try to make money at their expense on their property.
That's right.
All right, what's next?
The distribution of printed or recorded materials of any kind.
Manifestos.
Yeah.
You have
not
your
try to-
revolutionary manifesto. You keep that in your pocket, mister.
Oh, that's a doozy. Let's move on to the next one.
The
What's
shady
the next
pizza order menu.
one? God. What's next?
Okay. Engaging with other guests or impeding the operation while posing as or portraying any character in costume.
Okay.
In other words, you know, you don't want to be a friend of Pooh unless you're an official friend of Pooh.
That's right. That's exactly right.
You can go around with a big old honey pot going, oh, bother. I do not do a good Pooh. I'm sorry.
These costumes that you see at like birthday parties or on Times Square or other, big
Hollywood
heavy
Boulevard,
stuff like that may look like Mickey, may look like Minnie, may look like Goofy or anything else. Don't bring them to the park. You can't do that.
Yeah. Again,
Disney-
that goes back to the supervise your children because there are bad people out there.
Exactly. If it
And
doesn't
bad
really
people out
look like
there-
Mickey Mouse, it's not. It's not.
Yeah. Okay. This is yours.
This one's mine?
Yeah.
Okay. Did I lose my spot?
It's
Yes,
D.
I did. Okay, there we go.
Number
D.
4.
All right. Unauthorized events, demonstrations, or speeches, or the usage of any flag, banner, or sign for commercial purposes to incite a crowd is an activity that you cannot do at Walt Disney World.
Do not incite a riot on Main Street, USA.
Please do not. Do not burn an American flag on Main Street, USA.
Do not claim to be the next Che Guevara on Main Street,
No.
USA.
Do not do it.
Feeding any animals in the park, including birds. We don't care if it's tuppence a bag. Don't feed the birds.
Now, this used to be a big thing. This used to be a huge thing that people would love to feed the squirrels and the birds popcorn or turkey leg or French fries. You'd feed the fish the French fries. Don't do it. It's bad for them.
Yeah. First of all,
Bad.
Yeah. First of all, it is bad for them. Second of all, when you feed them, they lose their fear of humans.
Yeah.
And that's when things can go horribly wrong.
Do you
depending
know?
on the animal?
Do you know how close I have come to squirrels at Walt Disney World simply because they think I'm going to give them something to eat while I'm eating? Literally standing there begging at my feet, waiting for a handout. That's not good. That's not good.
No, it's not. Let's see. Tell you what else is not good. Photography. Oh, wait a minute. This is yours.
This is mine? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I said feeding any animals in the park, including birds. Yeah.
Okay. Photography, videotaping, or recording of any kind for commercial purposes. This was an issue that we talked about on the show about a month and a half, 2 months ago, where a couple was told by Disney security, hey, you cannot do live video here, blah, 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 blah. You can't do Periscope. You can't do FaceTime. You can't do this. We figured out where Disney security went wrong on this. You can FaceTime all you want. You can do Facebook Live. You can do Periscope. You can do vlogs on YouTube, all you want. But you cannot do it for commercial purposes. You cannot do it to gain profit. That's the key.
That is the key. And that is sometimes that can be kind of a fuzzy area.
It can be. It can be, especially if you monetize a video on YouTube,
Yes.
which means you have the opportunity to gain money from that.
Yes.
Can be a problem. But Disney cannot prove that while you're doing it. It's when you upload and the business relationship that YouTube has with Disney comes into play when you monetize something like that. So you have to be very specific. If Disney security walks up to you or a cast member does, so it's just Periscope, or we're just doing it for family video or whatever.
Yeah.
Explain yourself. But
Yeah.
always remember, you can't do it to gain money. You cannot do that.
Yeah. That goes back to the sale of goods or services, or the display of goods or services for sale.
Exactly. Right.
Disney doesn't want you making money for yourself off their property.
Right.
All right, let's see. And again, another catch-all: engaging in any unsafe act or other act that may impede the operation of the park or any associated facility. We don't care if you're into parkour. If you think you are the world's grand champion of running up the walls like Spider-Man and jumping from ledge to ledge, yeah, they don't want you doing it.
Yeah, don't do it. It's just a bad idea. Here's one unwritten rule. I don't know if it's unwritten, but you know not to do it, people. And I'm just adding this, okay? I'm just adding it. Couples, be appropriate with each other while you're visiting Walt Disney World in activities that you know you should not do. So in other words, if there's a little quiet spot next to the new Fantasyland area that has a nice little bench and it's kind of out of the way, don't use it for a makeout session, please.
Yeah.
It can just go wrong. I've seen it.
I may get in trouble for saying this, but
Uh-oh.
The ex used to chat with a Disney cast member, security cast member, who worked security at Epcot at night, and they said that was probably one of the biggest things that they had to watch out for when they were closing down the park. People trying to close down the park themselves.
Be part of that, exclusive club,
If you know what I mean.
Do you know where you came from? Future World. Gee whiz.
You be years from now, you'd be taking you little kid through World Showcase. They say, you go back into Morocco. You see that bench right back there, right there next to the restroom. Yep, that's when we knew you were gonna happen.
That's when it was. Yeah. See, just people. That's what the hotel rooms are for.
Yeah, that's the hotel rooms.
And I don't want people to laugh about this because I'm serious. It happens. It does happen. People get a little. I'm going to reference Food and Wine here. Eric, you did it before. I might as well do it again. You reference Food and Wine. You have a little too much to drink, and he or she starts looking a lot better than what they did 2 hours ago. Things happen. It's just it's life. But don't do it. Don't do it.
And we've heard the stories. You've heard the stories.
Oh, yeah.
I've heard the stories.
Oh yeah.
We had a guest here a while back, and she was the author of a book that was pretty much fantasies at on Disney property.
Yes.
So yes, we're saying fantasies are nice. Reality, not so much.
Not so much. No. Now, Disney doesn't put that down in the guidelines, but we had to kind of throw it in there just to make sure you understand. Again, when you leave the whip at home,
That falls under the last one, engaging in any unsafe act or other act that may impede the operation of the park.
You got a crowd. Nothing to see here.
Move along. Move along. These are not the droids you're looking for. Move along.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Okay, we're not.
Wow,
gonna
that's
talk about
really
this
good
anymore.
animatronics. Move along. Move along.
This is going to get out of hand if we talk about it anymore. All right, we're going to speed through the company rights. We're going to speed through this one. All right,
Yes,
Eric,
we are.
go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. We may. I'm laughing because this just ties into that segment.
Oh, look at what they're doing!
We may photograph, film, videotape, record, or otherwise reproduce the image and or voice of any person who enters any park and use the same for any purpose without payment to any person. Performance rights. You have none.
You may be in a Disney commercial.
And it may be the wrong kind of commercial.
It could be. It very well could be. Yeah. All right. All right. Next one. We reserve the right to deny admission or to require a person already admitted to leave a park without refund, liability, or compensation if we consider that the circumstances so require. Which means
We can kick
you screw
out.
up, you get kicked out. Done.
Yep. You don't get a refund if we have to boot you out for being a dumb butt.
Dumb butt.
I did try to censor myself, but anyway. All right. We may from time to time, without prior notice and without refund, liability, or compensation, change the operating hours of any park or attraction, close any park or any part of it temporarily, restrict the number of persons having access to a park, and or suspend or cancel any attraction or entertainment program if we consider that the circumstances so require. In other words, just because you are going to your first and only trip out to Disneyland and Pirates of the Caribbean is down for refurbishment, you cannot demand a refund.
That's a mouthful you just said.
That actually happened, by God.
Why can't they just put that instead of everything you just had to read?
Yeah.
Good grief.
We could close
I believe
down the
that's
house
happened.
and you will like it.
Mickey will not be seeing people today. I'd probably demand a refund because it's Walt Disney World.
Yeah.
You can't tell me Mickey's not available. Okay. If that happens, like he's not available anywhere in the 4 theme parks, you go to guest relations and you demand a refund. I'm sorry. I'm just going to throw that out there. I don't know.
Haunted Mansion's closed. Give me my money back. Sorry, Charlie.
Oh, golly. All right. Here's one you probably never thought of. Park rules and regulations are subject to change without notice.
Now, if this
That's
is not
pretty cut
a
and
blatant admission that we make stuff up all the time, yeah. But then again, yeah.
That's one's for you.
Yeah, there you go. If you have any questions, and if you've made it to the end of this part of the show, I'm sure you do, please visit any guest relations location.
Now, I kind of have a problem with this in some form or fashion simply because there have been times when I've gone to guest relations because of a question, and the cast member that I talk to doesn't have a clue whatsoever as to what you're talking about. Not a clue. So try not to make it complicated.
Yes. Keep
Read
it simple,
this stuff,
sweetheart.
Keep it simple. Keep it simple. Don't go into, well, U.S. law this and code this and section this and everything. Don't do that. Don't do your
Also-
rights and responsibilities thing. You know.
Also, don't go in with the attitude of, you screwed up, give me something.
You owe me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which you've seen it, you've heard it. We may even have been guilty of it from time to time. But remember, these people at the guest relations desk, they're just doing their job.
Yeah, that's true.
And their job is to take care of you, the customer. They're not going to sit there and refuse it just because,
That's right.
I don't like the way you look, sir.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Now, if you show
That's
up
true.
with an attitude, they may not go the extra mile on you.
Probably not. Most likely they won't.
Yeah.
They won't. So, all in all, we've gone through all the rules and regulations of the Walt Disney World Resort. You want to, head to DisneyWorld.com, read them for yourself. Go over them. If you've never done it before, do it. Simply because it's stuff that you need to know so that you can make your vacation a good one and a memorable one and a safe one. Safe. And the only reason we talked about this is because one idiot, being another idiot, I should say, not the first time, brought a loaded handgun to bring into the parks at Walt Disney World. That's why we talked about this. So that is your top 30, 40.
Oh, God.
Roundabout
I wasn't
number?
counting.
There's quite a few.
Top a bunch.
Top a bunch. The do's and the don'ts of the Walt Disney World Resort here on WDW After Dark. And so with all of that said, we are closing out the show. We've talked a lot for this time around. Really good, informative show for everybody. We had great park news. We had great Marvel news, Star Wars news, park rules and regulations, do's and don'ts, all kinds of stuff that we've included in this. So if, like Eric said before, if you've made it to this portion of the show, kudos
God
to
bless you.
Fantastic. Yes, thank you so much for getting this far with myself and with Eric Allen. So as we close the show, we do want to mention to everybody where we can be found when it comes to the internet and on your mobile phone and on your laptop or your Google Glass or your VR or whatever it is you're using these days.
Or your Imperial Comlink Bluetooth thingy.
Exactly. Yeah, that too. So we're going to Eric. Where can everybody find you in the universe?
You can find me on Twitter at Sorcom Review for Disney stuff and at Uncle Servo for all the rest. You can check out the Sorcom Review's Facebook page. Where else? Facebook.com/Sorcom Review. You can also give me a shout out in the Sorcerer Radio Disney Fun Zone there on Facebook.
Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Eric Allen. I muted my microphone when I wasn't supposed to. Okay, so you can find me on the internet over on Twitter at DW_60 and also at JeffDavis_75. Couple places you can listen to me or watch me. You can listen to me on DW60 on Sorcerer Radio Thursday mornings, 8 a.m. Eastern Time for the great Walt Disney World music. And Press Row brings you the latest headlines from the Walt Disney World Resort as well. You can also check out my vlog over on YouTube, youtube.com/DavisJR75. I usually use the weekends, upload a nice little vlog if I have time. Kristen and Aljon were not able to be with us for this show. They are on vacation, enjoying a little bit of downtime themselves. You can catch them on the WDW Tiki Room show every single Friday morning on Sorcerer Radio at srsounds.com at 8 a.m. Eastern Time. It is the show about all things Disney. Make sure you check out Dining at Disney and Jedi Mouseketeer and the WDW Tiki Room show in podcast form as well as Mr. Eric Allen, Mighty Marvel, every single week on SR and on iTunes and a whole bunch of other places as well. Eric, thank you again. Thank you.
My pleasure.
For joining me for another show. I really appreciate it. Make sure you check out our sponsors one more time. Magical Journeys Vacations, Amazon, Fandango, Halloween.com. You can find them all and the links at WDWAfterdark.com. Make sure you check them out. We definitely appreciate you clicking on those links. You have anything else before we go, Eric?
No, I think I'm good.
All right. Well, we appreciate you guys sticking around. Remember, you can catch this show on YouTube. You can catch it on iTunes. You can catch it at WDWAfterdark.com. And you can also catch it on Stitcher Radio as well. So show us the love. Give us those likes. Give us those 5-star reviews. Give us comments. Hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe. All that stuff. We appreciate you guys. We love you guys. And we love the support that you give our show. And we will be back once again with another here very, very soon. We thank you so much. Always remember, it is always better after dark.